Good morning. Welcome to the Love Yourself Spiritual channel. My name is Peggy. This morning I'm going to do something a little different. I received a download from Spirit through my inner child conversation that we were having, which happens, it's one of the avenues by which I get downloads is through inner child meditation, which for me, I'll just define quickly. My inner child, to me, is represented by, or represents my heart space, and our divine connection energetically to Spirit is felt through the heart. And so I often get information through that avenue during meditation. And this one was pertaining to pride, and I just had asked the question, why is it that pride keeps me from setting things right in a way that I know I could or I should? And anyway, I'm just going to read a few of the things that I jotted down while it was still really fresh in my mind from the conversation that I was having. And then we'll see if Spirit would like us to pull any cards or do anything further on that, or if just what I read is enough. We'll just see where he goes with this. Pride is to inflate a barrier against our own heart to protect what we see as our own vulnerability. It's not so much a barrier against the opposing force as it is between our own mind and the realization of the pain that we must move through to understand how to transmute the situation. It's to cover our vulnerability and separate it from the perceived salt that is being put into the wound. But pride disallows healing to occur as it stands still and stagnates all energy, both good and bad, from entering the wound. Most prideful stances are not guarding against our current wounding, but rather the force of opposition that's doubled up against our wound, a previous wound, that is calling for energetic healing. Which is where I think we always, like the phrase triggering comes from, when someone has pushed up against a wound that was already there. Which of course your mind knows that wound is painful. So the core wound can be from childhood, past lives, karmic in nature, and generational. What we refuse to transmute returns to us lifetime after lifetime for healing. In every prideful stance, we have the opportunity for evolution and healing, or we have the opportunity to repeat. Repeat only what serves, evolve what does not. And then previous to that meditation, I had gotten an inner child card, which I often will pull an inner child card before I go into meditation, and so that I have something kind of in mind to talk with her about. And the card that I had pulled that morning was speak to yourself with kindness, become aware of how you speak to yourself. And I thought that was really interesting that then our conversation evolved into a conversation about pride, because a lot of times when I know, when we know that we're in a prideful place, a lot of times we will go from, no, I'm not moving on this subject, to, okay, I'm just going to be mean to myself now. I'm having pride, I'm going to just bully myself. And neither feel good and neither make motion forward. So I thought that was really interesting about, that the conversation went from being kind to ourselves to how one of the ways that we vacillate or allow our ego to distract us, not only from healing the situation first within us with the core wounding that is being triggered, but also then healing with the source of the pain, either the other person or whatever the situation is about. So I wanted to share that, or I was called to share that. And then I do think we'll pull some cards. I might pull some from this Crow Tarot. I'm going to pause really quick though and flip the camera to the side so that it's easier to see the table. And then I'm also going to just grab some clary sage and select a few decks that with spirit and clean them really quick, and I'll be right back. This is the Crow Tarot. My daughter taught me this deck actually. I think they're really, really pretty. Crows are kind of auspicious. In the Nordic culture, they were considered, you know, spiritual messengers. And I have a little bit of Nordic blood in me, so I enjoy them. We've had crows here on and off. And that, of course, we have animals because by trade I'm a horse trainer, and so we have goats and ducks and chickens, and we've had bunnies, and but the turkeys specifically, they were always fighting with the crows, always chasing the crows off, they were very territorial. We had 3 female turkeys, and they were like dogs. They followed me everywhere I went. They would try to get on the skid loader with me to put out hay and sit on my lap. They were pretty fun. And cats and dogs, of course. We have lots of those. So I think we'll just do a few downlines. When I read downlines, I do mental, emotional, spiritual energy in that order. And then I think we'll do 2 lines, and then I'll take the bottom of the deck for an overall energy. And I think we're upside down. One second. That card was upside down. No, they're upright. How'd you get upside down? King of Wands in reverse. King of Cups upright. 9 of Pentacles, individuation. The Devil. Page of Cups. 7 of Pentacles. Okay. And 8 of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck, and we'll use that for our overall or supporting energy. Might need a bigger stand than that one is. The Star, Queen of Swords. 3 of Pentacles. I got a few of them upside down. Okay. Set that aside. So we have the King of Wands in reverse, which is funny to me. So I'm a fire sign, I'm a Sag, and the wands, of course, represent fire. I'm going to make sure we can see these. Yeah, we can see these. So this Queen of Wands in reverse is depicted by this lion with a crow standing on his head. And I always say that, you know, if you want to send someone to war, you want to send the King of Wands because, you know, he has a lot of pride. He's not going to want to lose. He's going to want to win. He's probably the ultimate competitor because of the pride. And so I think it's interesting in this reading that we're doing about pride that the King of Wands comes out in the reverse, because when we're standing in a prideful place, we're not really in a place of power. We're actually to be prideful or to be stubborn about reconciling or offering love to a situation is actually the desire not to be vulnerable, which your strength is in your vulnerability. I think society really has it wrong when they talk about, being strong and being silent, because it is better to be silent. If you're going to be mean, don't be mean. But if you don't move the energy, you're not really using any power. To do nothing is actually a choice, and it's a coward's choice to do nothing. Not that there aren't times to rest upon a situation or to meditate or to go within, but those are also active things, active choices. But to decide essentially to do absolutely nothing and not even try to move the energy really is kind of a cowardly thing to do. We all do it, and that's okay. I mean, it's a natural human experience, and it is also a choice. But I love that the King of Cups, so the way out is the King of Cups, and this The King of Cups is the one who knows his heart space. He's the ruler of the heart space. And I really think, the King of Wands in reverse, showing where pride can come from, and that it is a reverse, or it is a negative feeling. Not that pride is always bad. There are times that it is necessary to stand up for yourself, but that's not pride. That's a boundary. And boundaries are very healthy. So don't confuse being stubborn and setting a boundary of, this hurts me, you'll not do this to me again. Someone was taking a razor blade and making little slices on your arm, and you said, stop, I don't like that, that's a boundary for me, you are right to do it. But when our boundary is between our mind and our own heart, that's when I think it becomes more of a prideful situation where it's not helpful to you. So evaluate, when you are standing up a boundary, where that boundary is actually stemming from is always important. But this King of Cups, he knows his heart, and it's a big squishy heart. He's not going to throw his pearls before swine. He's not going to give his love away and expect nothing in return, no reciprocation, because that's not healthy. It's not healthy to give without receiving. In fact, it can be quite painful. And then this Nine of Pentacles. I love the Nine of Pentacles. It's absolutely one of my favorite cards. And it really is a lot about individuation. And I think it's just really indicating like a rich individuation. Like this is a card of abundance. And I really think that, further clarifying this King of Cups in the heart space, which is our second card, the third card being a spiritual energy card, it's just saying the individuation of you, your individuation is, your abundance is knowing yourself, is going into your heart space and doing the work, because Pentacles for me are always about doing some type of work, or the work that we do as being important. So working with the heart to get this King of Wands turned back upright so he's not standing on his head. And then our second downline, the Devil. And the Devil is the patterns that we keep that don't serve us, for me. A lot of times, people say, oh, the devil, the devil, the devil. It's so bad. And it's not bad. The devil is your patterns. And the beautiful thing about patterns is that if it's a pattern, eventually you can see it. And then you can change it. So the devil is the aspect of us. It's an aspect of, people will call it the shadow self. I just call it the ego. And the ego is neither good nor bad. It's both. So the devil is that part of us that allows us to not recognize the patterns that are hurting us, the patterns that are not serving us. And so interesting that the devil comes out if pride, or separating yourself from the things that are in your heart, the information that is in your heart that would heal you specifically. Everything begins with the self. You have to heal you before you can heal a situation. That's how it has to work, or it's not true healing, and the pattern will continue. So the healing has to begin with that pattern within your own heart space. And then the Page of Cups is about learning. Pages are always about learning. So learning about love, learning about your heart, going in there and finding out, like, what do I really feel about this person? What do I really feel about this situation? What pattern in this situation is it that is got me all jacked up on Mountain Dew? We used to say it. My kids used to say it all the time when they were little. And then the Eight of Pentacles, again, is speaking to doing the work. The Eight of Pentacles is about locking in, buckling down, getting at it. You're not being, and enjoying the work, doing the work and looking forward to the work. It's doing the hard work, doing what it takes. So I really feel like that, Spirit just really wants to say that pride first is a reversal energy, and you want your energies upright. You want your energies in the positive. And it's all about doing the work with the heart. I mean, all we have out here is besides the King of Wands, kind of representing that, that negative, prideful energy, is cups and pentacles, pretty much, except for our major arcana, devil. But and then our overall energy. I'm sorry. This is the Seven of Pentacles. The Seven of Pentacles, a little bit of growth, but it is still about doing the work. The work is actually in the overview. The work is, the Eight of Pentacles is in the overview, which is actually even a better place for it, because this is all work. All of it's work. It's all about doing the work. But the Seven of Pentacles is about planting seeds and watching something grow. So this Page of Cups, this a little bit of investigating that you're going to do about these patterns in your heart space, the Seven of Pentacles just is saying, plant those seeds and watch them grow. Begin those new patterns. And I think a lot of the patterns are going to need to begin with seeing the pattern, of course, and then forgiving the self. It always comes down to, okay, I can see how I have this pattern where I give too much. Let's say you give too much and someone is taking advantage of you, and it's caused maybe some not so pretty words to be said between you. And so now you're standing in a prideful spot saying, yeah, well, too bad. I don't agree. And there isn't anything wrong with that. You just don't want to stay there. And standing up for yourself is important. But then going into the heart and saying, okay, where is this pattern that I have where I give too much and then I get frustrated because people don't give back? Where is this pattern coming from? Where is the root of this pattern? And then how do I change the pattern? And so it's about recognizing it through that Page of Cups, learning about it through that Page of Cups, and then planting the seed, or saying, okay, this is how I'm going to respond in the future. This is what I'm going to be willing to give, and I'm going to accept reciprocation. Reciprocation in my relationships going forward. And then you may be in a relationship with a person where they're not going to give back. I've had that experience where in some relationships, that person, in order to feel loved, needed an overgiver. But there was never any balance in the relationship. So it's never solid. It never feels like it's a balanced relationship. And so if that is the case, and you decide that you're going to become balanced and have balanced relationships, that relationship may become a much smaller relationship in your life, or may even leave your life if it doesn't come into balance, because our patterns are always complemented by those we are in them with. So if, when you understand your pattern and you decide that you're going to be different, and then you go back and you have an honest conversation with that person about, okay, this is who I am, and this is what I do, and this is something I am actively going to try to change, and if we're going to continue relationship, then I need you to help me to be different, and we have to set this relationship up to be patterned differently. If I text you, I won't chase you. If you don't text me back, that's where the relationship will end. However you want to set it up, however the giving back and forth occurs. But don't ever chase anyone for love. If that's your pattern, don't text them 4 times and then go, oh, finally they text me back, or they called me, I'm okay now. So that just shows that you're not okay with you. And if that's the case, go back into your heart space and find that wound, because that is coming in response to a wound. That pattern is coming in response to a wound. And then after having that honest conversation with that person, if it doesn't change, then let it go. Because as you let a relationship that is unhealthy go, it will make room for a relationship that is unhealthy. You can't have... It's a universal law that if you are willing to be an overgiver, you won't have balanced relationships. And sometimes you almost have to prove to the universe, and maybe to yourself as well, that it is important to you to have balanced relationships by making them become balanced. And if they won't become balanced, allowing them to move on. And then in allowing them to move on and standing your ground firmly with that boundary that I will be loved equally, I will be given to equally. I want the full 10 of cups. I want full fulfillment in love. I don't want an 8 of cups as friends. I don't want someone who's willing to always walk away if I don't overinvest. When you cross that bridge all the way, you're not standing on both sides of the creek. When you cross the bridge all the way and you stand on the side with the 10 of cups, then that's what you'll get. And sometimes it requires leaving some 8 of cups behind, some undergivers, some needy people that don't give back. So I don't think we need further clarification on this. I might pull a cosmic insight oracle or two and just see. I'm just going to shuffle them a little bit a few times before we pull anything out, and just see if there's anything else that Spirit might want to say on this or give insight on this. If I've missed something that they want to convey to you, here, our spirit guides and Spirit. Well, there. We'll take that one. Thank you, Spirit. Yes. Thank you. All right. A narcissist, someone who is too full of themselves. If you are an overgiver, or even if you're a narcissist who found your way here, one of the ways that you'll know is that the narcissist is the one who takes, obviously. And I saw an interesting drawing yesterday that someone had done where the reason, and it said this person is an empath, and she sees energy, and it's her gift. And she said that she can tell people who are going to attract narcissists because their energy very freely flows outward from them to other people. And the narcissist, no energy flows out of them, and no energy flows from the divine, or a very, very small amount, nearly none in a true narcissist. But there's levels of narcissism, of course. We all have some narcissistic tendencies. We're all born, we're supposed to be a little bit selfish. That's the perspective we have, is of the self. And everything begins with the self. But a truly narcissistic person, there's not much energy flowing into them from the divine, where an empath is just, constantly channeling energy down. And so the narcissist will seek out an empath because the empath very freely gives their energy away. And that's what I'm talking about. That's actually the overgiving I'm talking about, to spend too much time giving, and you're giving more of your energy possibly than anything else. Although, of course, it has 3D manifestations as well when that's the case. And the narcissist, the minute you quit giving and they quit receiving that energy from you, because they aren't aware of how to open the conduit above them to receive it from divine source as readily as empath. If they aren't ready to see that as their pattern, they'll go find another empath. When you stop giving. And one of the interesting ways that you can very simply close your aura, if you want to know if you're with a narcissist, close your aura. Don't give energy. And you can put your fingers together, cross your ankles, simply ask, Divine Spirit, will you please close all my channels down and protect my energy within my auric field and keep it as mine at this time. Before and until this conversation is over, and if you're going to meet them for, say, lunch or something, and do that until you're done with that interaction. And if they become irritated at you during that interaction, you'll 100% know you're with a narcissist. And like everyone, a narcissist also has the need to heal. And wants healing. They're not always easy to get through, and it's not your job. They may or may not be ready for healing at the time that you are having your experience with them, and that's okay. That's okay. You can still hope it for them, but that also doesn't mean that you are that you need to be the one to give them energy. Let's see if there's anything else. Spirit and funny. I tend to avoid the whole narcissistic conversation. Apparently Spirit wanted us to have it anyway, only because it's kind of overdone anymore. I just feel like, gosh, you know, can't hardly get on YouTube without hearing about it. But it's a thing, and empaths really suffer in it. And not only are the empaths suffering in it, but also the narcissist, they're suffering as well. That's what the need is about. Is they can be more difficult until they've lost everyone. They won't look at their own. They won't look in. That is one of the narcissistic traits, is they have no self-awareness whatsoever. They know exactly what's going on with everyone else, but they have no idea what's going on inside them. And until everyone is gone, I guess that was it. Until everyone is gone from their life, really, they just don't have any desire to look in, but they will. They will when it gets to a place where it's just down to them. There's just no one else to take from. And that's their choice. One thing I can tell you is that you're not helping them at all by giving them energy. You're not helping them. You're actually prolonging their devil. They're not going to look at their devil until it's down to them. That's just the way that it is. Having been an empath and having been a giver of energy, 100%, that's just how it is. So, okay, I think that's all that Spirit has for you today. And I hope that this helps you in some way, and maybe share it with someone. If you're struggling with a relationship that feels in some way like what I've described here today, and you would like any help, I do offer readings. I do spiritual counseling. If you have just a something that you would like more information on, please, if it's just like a single comment, I need more help on how to meditate, or how to see my pattern, something like that, maybe put in the comments, and as I feel called to and Spirit will allow, I will try to address those in another video. So I think that is all. Namaste. Be blessed.